Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, we know Bitcoin's not looking too good right now. It has dumped. Crypto market is looking weak. So what should we do about it? I'm going to tell you exactly what my next move is. All right, let's get started. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Those of you guys that thought I photoshopped this hat on, no, I have one. And is it my next move? Well, let's get to it first. Let's look at the market. Let me tell you what's going on with Bitcoin and crypto overall. You could see Bitcoin is clinging on to 42,000 right now. It fell as low as 40,500, which some people thought it needed to hit, but we have bounced up a little bit back up to 42,000. But overall, today is not looking too good. About 1,000 points down versus yesterday. So what happened today? What happened this morning? Well, jobs report came out. And it's mixed bag. In fact, it wasn't that good. It wasn't that bad either. It was really mixed. So this is one of the big metrics that people are looking at, whether or not the economy is actually doing well or not. And here's the thing. In total, it was anticipated that there will be 400,000 jobs added. But instead, there was only 200,000 jobs added. So on that front, it looks bad. But unemployment also dropped below 4%, which is the first time since November 2020. And that's good. So how is it possible that less jobs got added, but unemployment went down? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So people are theorizing or concluding that, there was just not enough sales force out there. There was not enough people that were available, and there's also not enough jobs that was available. So overall, there could have been more, but there wasn't. And so it's like neutral. It's not good or bad, but it did scare off the tech. Hedge funds are still, they're trying to prepare for what was announced, rate hikes and reducing balance sheet from the Fed, right? So you can see this morning, all tech stocks, Tesla down again, Coinbase down, Nvidia down, MicroStrategy down. So basically, these Wall Street guys, hedge funds, are preparing. They're selling off. They're selling off pretty much all tech, anything tech related, anything that is a little bit riskier in their opinion, and getting ready. And next week, we have a bigger thing that's coming out from the economic standpoint. CPI, Consumer Price Index, which measures inflation, that's anticipated to go up even more, right? So that's coming out next week. So whether or not the market's trying to anticipate for that, some of that may be happening right now, and we'll see how bad it gets. Long term, my argument is this: inflation will help Bitcoin. But what's not helping Bitcoin right now is the hedge funds and possibly VCs that are all trying to sell off their tech, and that is not helping. And it's adding a lot of pressure right now. All right, let's just call it what it is. They are definitely selling. And what's not helping right now is liquidations, which still is very high. You could see from about 2 days ago, you had about $1 billion worth of Bitcoin's longs liquidated. In the last few days, you had a couple $100 million that was also liquidated. Just too much leverage going on right now, right? So, of course, that's not helping the market. And I have, unfortunately, looking at, according to On-Chain College, actually the leverage ratio is unfortunately still very high. In fact, it's very, very high. So there could be more liquidations and more cascading wreckage coming if, people don't learn from their lessons. Continue to play with leverage and they continue to wreck themselves and continue to harm the whole ecosystem, harm everyone else, right? Leverage just really sucks. It really does. I wish all the exchanges would just get rid of leverage. So that should be collectively in 2022. All exchanges should look at and say, hey, you know what? Leverage is wrecking the economy. Even though we're making our money from liquidations and fees, they should just really just like think about getting rid of it or making it very, very small. Not their 25, 50, 100x. Okay, so there is still that going on. However, I just want to show this. This is also in terms of leverage, since it's high. Is it more long or shorts? It's about the same. It's about middle right now. If you look at all the exchanges, right, it's about the middle. So kind of shows you, but there is a little bit more leaning to the short side right now. You can see this is updating every 5 minutes. So there is a little bit more short pressure right now than long pressure. But with all this said, does that mean that Bitcoin is dead? Does that mean that the crypto market is done? Does that mean that everyone should just sell off everything and go, apply at McDonald's? No, because I have some good stuff to show you guys. So let's get to it. Number one, there has been a lot of buying. You may be thinking that we're, only selling, okay? But on the contrary, there's actually a ton of buying. We're just not noticing it right now because we do see a lot of sell-on exchanges, but on the OTC market, there's actually a ton of buying. Let's start out with the third biggest whale out there. The third largest address with over $5 billion of Bitcoin added close to 1,000 Bitcoins within the last day. And you can see that since December, there was one point where he sold off one BTC, which didn't make much sense. Maybe he was just using it to play around with something. But he's been consistently adding, and he has been more and more and more aggressive over the last few days. So he is buying. One of the largest whales, Bitcoin whales with $5 billion, continues to buy. And not just him. Here's another one. A transfer out of Coinbase of 2,500 Bitcoins, equaling $100 million. This was definitely a purchase by some large entity. You don't just have $100 million leave Coinbase for no reason. So again, some big boys are buying. They're buying. And then take a look at this. The 33 largest Bitcoin addresses, of course, the 33 largest whales for Bitcoin, increased by 3,000 BTC. So again, you got the big boys that are not panicking about what's going on right now, and they continue to buy more and more and more and more and more and more. And this is all happening on the OTC market. So you're like, oh, well, it doesn't make sense. If they're all buying, why is Bitcoin going down? Because the price right now that's reflected is on the exchanges. And unfortunately, when you have a lot of sell pressure, you got some whales and some manipulation going on, right? They could drive things and make it look real ugly. But most of Bitcoin is illiquid, okay? Over 80% is illiquid. And some of that is the OTC market. So you have a lot of transactions going on in the OTC market, and it's not affecting the order books at all on the exchanges. And that's what's happening. These whales and these large holders continue to buy more and more and more. And some of these may be companies and institutions, we just don't know. But they continue to buy more and more and more. And this is why I tell you guys to stay in the game. Because the big boys, the smart guys, are continuing to accumulate because they know our volatility, what we're going through right now, we will get through it, right? And this is all happening within just a matter of days. We're having thousands and thousands and thousands of Bitcoins being taken off and basically bought and held in some cold storage now. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And also, Bloomberg just came out with their 2022 kind of prediction. Came out with a lot of stuff, okay? And they're saying that Bitcoin in 2022 will continue upwards. Bitcoin will head to $100,000. and Ethereum will head to $5,000. So if you look at this report, it's pretty long. And here's the thing. This is their rationale, okay? This is their rationale. If you read through this, basically, they talk about inflation. They talk about how inflation will be something that is very hard to solve. The Federal Reserve faces the greatest inflation in 4 decades and more inclined to raise rates if risk assets continue climbing, right? And then they kind of go on and talk about all the things that helps Bitcoin. But in their firm belief that Bitcoin is still heading to 100,000 and Ethereum is going to hit $5,000 this year. There you go. And also, just to throw a little bit more bullishness on here, we have a new trader here that I've been following and working with. Well, he presented this chart looking at some of the support zones, comparing right now versus when Bitcoin hit $28,000. Okay, so you could see that we have a resistance zone, which obviously was at 64,000 and 69,000, and recently formed a new support, right around $40,000. We briefly touched it, but overall we're still clinging on that 42,000 mark, right? Kind of like when Bitcoin fell down to 30,000, briefly it touched about 28,000 a couple times, but overall it held at that 30,000 mark, and it held there for many months until it broke out and continued forward. And that is exactly looking like what's happening right now. Okay, so short term, we could be seeing bottom right now, and we could be holding it for a little bit. But just like before, we will get through it. We will get through it. Okay, this is why volatility is considered the price of admission for crypto. For newcomers into the space that isn't used to it, does not like it, not prepared for it, doesn't understand, or they get fudded, well, they tend to leave. And this happens every single time we have any kind of correction, or in this case, a major correction. But traders or holders that understand that volatility is always going to be a thing, and they take advantage when things are low, and they buy and hodl. Well, that's how they make money. That's how you truly make money with crypto, right? So right now, we're going through one of those periods, telling guys to stay strong, stay focused, focus on the future, right? So to answer my question, no, not my question, my statement here, what's my next move, right? My next move is this. I know that you guys already know what I'm going to say. No, it's not going to be working at McDonald's. But I will continue on holding. I will continue on to DCAing, right? There are a lot of prime candidates that is ripe for buying right now. There's a lot of L1s. Just last night, I had a pretty unique video, presented a pretty unique perspective in terms of the L1s that are held by VCs. And most of them are in some respect, but some are larger than others, right? So I'm going to be concentrating more on the ones that's held less by the VCs, because I think they may follow the same footsteps as hedge funds. So their free gravy train of getting endless loans at near zero interest is going away. So they're going to start pinching their wallets more. And they may decide to sell off some of their winners. And there was so many winners in 2021 that they may be selling off some of their holdings, right? So I'm going to be looking more into that, because I think that's a really interesting thing that not a whole lot of people talk about, right? In terms of how much VC holds and whether or not they may be planning on taking some profits, because at some point they will, right? So that is what I'm going to continue to do. And something new that I really didn't concentrate on before, but that I'm going to make a real effort in doing this year in 2022 is making sure that I utilize DeFi. There's so much to DeFi. You guys have heard me talk about DeFi endlessly, and you may not understand what that means. You're like, George, I hear you talk about DeFi. What is that exactly, right? You look at DeFi, it hardly went down, only 4%. Total value locked is still $234 billion. Why are so many people still locking in their value into DeFi projects? You know why? Because you're earning a really good reward from it. You're earning interest. You're getting staking rewards back. And some are substantial with more risk, and some are with less risk, but still substantial when you compare it to anything else. So I am going to be utilizing DeFi a lot more in 2022. I plan on making a lot more videos helping you guys get into DeFi so that you are able to take advantage. And some of you guys do have a large amount of crypto that you're holding. You could stake them and get rewards because you plan on holding anyways. And a lot of you guys have stable coins that you could also utilize DeFi with and make a tremendous amount of interest just by holding. For example, I've talked about Anchor. I talked about Terra, right? I said I was going to experiment. And I did in a big way. So when I demonstrated, I deposited only 10,000 at a time, had 100,000 sitting there, right? So just to show you guys, I put in now $157,000, right? It's collecting 19.55 interest. For me, there's no risk on UST because it's a stable coin. It's at $1, regardless of what happens with the market, right? So I deposited, and look at this. If you look at a daily interest, not that impressive. I'm making $84 from this. But then you look at the week, $600. That's not bad. You look at the month, $2,500. And you look at the year, $31,000. Just by leaving it there with zero risk, basically, other than if Anchor and Terra collapses. That's your real risk. But right now, it does not look like they're anywhere near that as they keep blowing up and Terra USD keeps going higher, right? So this shows you, this is one example, one of the best and easiest forms of DeFi, and that's simply to stake within a project that you believe in and you love. This is, for example, using Terra USD, but you could do so with Polygon, you could do so with Avalanche, you could do so with Solana, you could do so with Cardano. There are just so many ways you could use your crypto and earn interest and earn rewards while you're holding anyways, right? So that is my next move, really to utilize DeFi more this year, because I think this is tremendous. And the reason why L1's network protocols have been so strong and why TVL continues to stay high, even though there may be panic in the streets, right? So there you go. That's my next move, guys. That's my next move. Unfortunately, maybe you guys wanted to see me at McDonald's next, but no, that's not going to be the case. Although there's nothing wrong with working at McDonald's, and they are paying pretty high hourly wage right now. But outside of that, that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. Oh, back. Someone asked about if the thumbnail could be an NFT. Hey, I can make that happen. I haven't had another one come up. What else is there? Khan says, look at the weak plus. Blaming others, strong hands, patient, true OGs, waiting for next all-time high. Yes, it always happened, guys. Okay, I'm trying to bring some humor and some knowledge. Okay, but ultimately, you have to do your own homework, right? You have to do your own research, and you have to know what you're getting involved with. Too many retail players, retail investors, average Joes, millennials, whoever comes in, they hear about a lot of people making tremendous amount of money, right? And they hear about Dogecoin millionaires, Shiba millionaires, and all these millionaires. They jump in, they don't realize what they're getting involved with. And when things like this happen, blame everyone rage quits and exit out to the market, right? Unfortunately, this got in because they just weren't knowledgeable, or they weren't aware of what's really happening, right? And they need to know that it really comes down to patience, and it's really an investment. It's not a quick trade. When you get in crypto, it's not a quick trade to become a millionaire, right? You could definitely become a millionaire, but it's a matter of patience. The wealth is being transferred from the impatient to the patient. That's what's happening. And there's always times like this. And I made mention many times in 2021, we had this too. And when we were hovering at 30,000 and 28,000, things look much worse than now, right? But we got through it and we continue forward. And people were calling it a bear market then. And you know what? We still got past it. So we will get past this too. Just got to be patient. Louis, new member, welcome. GBDC is cremated at a huge discount to NAV. You got to realize GBDC is at a discount because now there's different options for institutional investors. They could buy Purpose Bitcoin ETF and other ETFs from Canada, right? So GBDC that's why I think it's weak, because it's not truly like a ETF. And you can't really you can't redeem it right now. So people make a big deal about, yeah, it's a negative premium and you could redeem it for Bitcoin. You can't redeem it. It's a trust that once Bitcoin goes in, it never comes out. Until Grayscale converts to ETF and gets approval, well, that's always going to be the thing, right? So let's see here. I'll take a nothing burger, large fries and Coke. Solana finally dipped. Solana did dip, and pretty tremendously too. If you look at some of the other L1s that have done pretty well in the last 90 days, Solana unfortunately did not, but they're not too bad either compared to, say, someone like Cardano. Cardano is just, has not really been moving, but some of these other ones, if you look at 90 days, still way in the green. Yeah, GM mentions about CryptosRUs.com. Hey, you guys want to learn more about any kind of altcoin, you really should go to CryptosRUs.com, right? Basically, there's a ton of articles. I mean, not only about breaking news in general, NFTs, okay, but also a lot about guides, how to use some of these stuff that I talk about. If you want to know how to use Binance.us, you want to know how to use Phantom or MetaMask or Coinbase, right? A lot of guides and a lot of altcoins. There's a ton out there. And basically anything that's popular, and we're always adding more and more and more and more, right? So there's just a lot there. You want to know about Harmony, you want to know about Voyager, you want to know about Axie, Polkadot, Algorand, Sandbox. I mean, literally anything. Flux, Decentraland, even Shiba, Condena. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. Phantom, Arweave, Avalanche, Flow, right? So if you guys want to learn more, definitely check out CryptosRUs.com. Been putting a lot of effort in growing this to become the biggest crypto publication out there. Not only the biggest, but the best. So check it out if you haven't yet. Rich is saying this is a gift, throwback in time. Yes, that is right. Does borrowing against your crypto count towards leverage? It doesn't, but you're basically investing more than what you can afford to lose. Leverage, is it's really fast moving. You could get liquidated. With borrowing, you could also get margin called and get liquidated, right? It's just a little bit slower, but it can happen. So it's a little bit less risky, but still, I don't advise it unless you really, really, really know what you're doing. All right. Some super chat about Litecoin. Don't really understand. Do you think the ADA gang will make boss cats and next apes? I have no idea. I've never heard of boss cats before. What do you think about IOTA, the latest update and staking? I think IOTA is moving, finally catching up and modernizing themselves. Yes, you could stake IOTA and you could get 2 tokens. You could get their new assembly chain and their other chain. I forgot what the name is, but they came out with 2 chains. One a test chain, very much like Kusama, and then they have another EVM compatible chain called Assembly, and it's all in their wheelhouse now, right? They're all working together. So it does seem like they're very ambitious right now, trying to really modernize, but it's going to take time to build out the ecosystem. Tony on crypto, large super chat. Check out Elephant when you get a chance. It's up and coming stablecoin platform with 205 APR, fixed APR. That sounds very risky. And I think I looked at this before. Elephant money. Yeah, looking at this, no thanks. No thanks, Tony. You're probably from the team, but looking at that tokenomics, no thanks. Dito says, I used Anchor today, put my Luna in there, borrowed against it to get UST, bought more Luna, and then I could put in Anchor again. I mean, yeah, there's many levels to what you can do. If you borrow money, you could also restake that so that your overall percentage or your margin gets bigger. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff you could do. With DeFi, that's the beauty. You could experiment, and there's no limits of what you can do. Basically, you can compound your interest and go grow it tremendously, right? But again, with more interest and more compounding, there's more risk. Just like any other AMM out there that may give you 60, 70, 80, 100%, 200%, there's always going to be a risk. So just be careful. I think just putting into Anchor right now for 20% APY, I think that's pretty easy to do and pretty stable, less risk, but there's many other ways to make a lot more. Can you withdraw UST off Anchor anytime? Yes, Daniel, you can. I tried that. What do you think about Rose? They're a L1. You know, I actually, there's a research paper done in Patreon, and, you know, there's a lot of new research papers that's being added every single day. I did not have a chance to read it, but I know they're L1. I've looked at them before. I don't know what their big advantage is versus other L1s. That's what I look for when I see a L1, because there's so many out there, and there's so many that has already pumped. They're big caps, large caps, or mid caps, but what makes the small caps different from them, right? What's their competitive advantage? Can they catch up? That's the key thing. And so far, I don't know what that is for Rose. Thoughts on buying BTC miners right now? I always think that it's better to just buy Bitcoin rather than buy Bitcoin miners and wait 7 months to get repaid. Because in 7 months, you never know. Bitcoin could be much higher. But of course, you could argue in 7 months, Bitcoin could be lower, right? But still, difficulty keeps adjusting, keeps going higher. The difficulty keeps going up. The profitability is going down. So I don't think it's a good, in my opinion, I don't like going to the Bitcoin mining route. So Saw Wong, I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. Is there a place to submit projects on CryptosRUs for you to review? Not really. I have a good amount of people that's kind of scouring through, but if you want to send an email, go ahead. And if it's good, I can send it to them. But you know what? There's plenty. There's plenty out there we're looking at already. Your thoughts on Aave and what do you think about his future for the next 2 weeks? Why are you asking about the next 2 weeks? Don't worry about the next 2 weeks, okay? Overall, Aave is one of the DeFi projects out there that has done very well in 2021, right? They got a little bit weaker because there's just a lot of options right now. There's a ton of options, and Aave had some problem with scaling, and they moved over to multiple chains now, so that has helped them. But overall, they're a good project. But asking about what's going to happen in 2 weeks, that is something that you should not be asking. You should just ask, is it a go hold? Is Sol dying due to VC holdings dumping? I don't know. We don't know that. If they do, we don't know. We don't know if any of these VCs are dumping, but it makes sense if the hedge funds are dumping that some of the VCs might, and that could be the reason why Solana is a little bit weaker. But then again, it's in line with several other alts. I mean, if you compare it to, Ethereum, it's moving about the same as Ethereum. And Ethereum doesn't have a lot of VCs. It has some, but not a lot. So, could be, but there's something to think about going forward. Let's see. Second super chat, longtime listener. Do you think insurance is necessary for staking? No, I would not. I don't trust any decentralized insurance place. I just don't know if they could cover it. I just don't trust it. So, I don't know. And would you put in 1 million? Maybe. After comfort level, I would think about it because I've talked about it. You put $1 million on Anchor, you put $1 million here, you're collecting like $200,000 a year. You could live off of that. That's more than what most people make, right? So it's amazing. But again, there's risk level. There's always risk level. What if something happens to UST or Terra? There's always a chance. But right now it seems pretty stable. They've been running for over a year. Many people are taking advantage of it. So just really a comfort level. And I would not suggest putting all your money in there either. I would say spread it out, right? There's a lot of companies out there. A lot of companies out there that gives you a pretty amazing interest. Like my partner BlockFi is giving 9.5 with Tether, right? That's not too shabby either. And then, you could get 9 on, USDC and BUSD. So there's a lot of options out there. Solana DEX, please. First US-based Solana DEX with 100 million. They aim to eliminate. Everyone says that. Every new DEX says they eliminate their aim is to eliminate rug pulls. Whether or not that's truly true, I don't know. But it's good. Thanks for sharing. Step Finance. I haven't heard of them before. Yeah, I'm not going to look at a 1 million market cap project. What's up with Radio Shack having a text and a token called Radio? Tai Lopez. Some of you guys may know Tai Lopez, who's the guy that's all about knowledge with a whole stack of books in the garage with his Lamborghini. Well, he partnered up with someone else, and they've been buying all these bankrupt companies. And he bought Radio Shack, and then he's trying to turn them into a blockchain company. It's so obvious, such a pure money grab. So I would stay far, far, far away from it. Unfortunately, they're just utilizing the name, to get attention. If I buy BTC now, margin trade long, get liquidated at a loss, can I count the loss as a capital loss on my taxes? Yeah, for 2022, not for 2021. For 2021, you had to do it in 2021, which is why toward the end of the year, there was a lot of people that are selling for tax loss harvesting. If you do it now, you have to wait until next year to do. 8-Bit Paul says, thanks for positivity, not weeks or months, but years. Yes. I mean, when it sucks when things come down. I know that. And even for veterans, it sucks, right? Even veterans that's been around for years, it sucks. I know that. But it has paid off. It has paid off for me. It has paid off for many, many others that's been following me for years now, okay? Even not years. Even just going back a year in 2020. Bitcoin and everything else has gone up so much, and all it took was just having patience. We got through every single major disaster, every single fall, every single FUD, right? We will get through it, just like right now. You just have to be patient and stay strong and be in the game. Pay attention to what's really going on, all the buying in the OTC market, the fundamentals of countries and everyone else, that's trying to get involved with Bitcoin, the growing adoption, the fintech companies all trying to get involved, right? There's just so much going on. And Web 3.0 and DeFi is only getting started. I mean, if you think 234 billion is a lot, wait until this turns to 2 trillion, and then wait until that 2 trillion turns into 20 trillion. There's so much money out there. This 234 billion means nothing. Nothing. On a grand scheme of things versus all the money out there, this is nothing. This is like less than 0.1%. Wait until this number hits 2 trillion, 20 trillion, maybe one day 200 trillion, and replaces centralized finance. Then it'll be exciting. More exciting, let's just say. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Overall, guys, I know it's hard right now, but stay strong, stay focused. If you can, take advantage, right? That's what I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to be spending a lot more time with DeFi going forward, making sure I take advantage of all the sweet rewards that's available, especially for holders. Why not? Why not, right? Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.